Hello, evening. Yo, I can see you, Matt Jones. I can see your name. And James Monster Brown, how's it going? Dave Wright, yeah, I can see your name. Hi, Paul Renault, how's it going? Paul Nye, I can see you. I was just waiting for my guest to come on then, so that's why I'm a little bit late. But hopefully, she's just updating the Chrome that needs to be done, and then it should be all good. So I'll get my thank you stuff out the way and everything first. Evening all, hope you're all good. Lee Ashby here, Motocross and Speedway Memories. Got an amazing guest this evening. Yo, Dave Budge, Price, I can see you on YouTube. Amy Chappell, I can see you. Well done. You've all seems to have registered tonight, people. Nikki and Mark Young, I can see your name on there. Laney Lou, Andrew Smith on YouTube. Craig Triplet, how's it going, buddy? Can see you guys all coming up all clearly with your names. Look, there you go. Once you've registered properly, that's how you should see yourself. Beautiful. So I'll get my thank yous out. Yeah, I can see you, Andrew Poulter. There you go. Already 100 online live already, over 100 now. Fantastic. I'll get on my thank yous and hopefully my guest will be here soon. So big thanks to the support to Simon Pardo, who's from Swindon, from his White Eagle Finance. They give quality financial advice for pensions, mortgages, investments and protection. Check the website out at www.whiteeaglefinance.co.uk. You can quote Lee Ashby or Motocross and Speedway Memories and get free advice from Simon. So check that out. Big thanks to the legend Stefan Evans with his S72 Gin and Vodka brand. Check out his website on www.s72gin.com. Big thanks to Lee Owen of Owen Developments. You can catch him on the shop side of www.owenturbos.com, and his other website is www.owendevelopments.co.uk. Also, big thanks to Terry Smith from Swindon with his painting and decorating. You can call Terry on 07961 537 505 for any of your painting and decorating needs. Also, big thanks to Craig Triplet of Jardine Conservatories. Check them guys out on www.jardineintalford.co.uk. So, hope everyone's good. There's a couple of you guys that haven't registered. Yo, Dan Ways, how's it going, buddy? Hope your dad's good, mate. All the best to your dad. Someone there's put evenings, not registered the name, so I don't know. I did suggest to people that if they haven't registered, then just say your full name after you make a comment. There's another one there just right after you. It's put, hey, it's not registered there. Can see you, Ivan. Wonderful. I'm really looking forward to seeing this one. There you go. That's on YouTube. Look. And the people that have registered, like Jill there. Hey, Jill. Hope you and Andy are good. Hope to get Alan soon. There's a few guys out there looking to have Alan, so it'd be cool if we can get him on at some point. That's what it should look like. Your Facebook should look like once you've registered. Look, you can see your profile. I can see Mark Welsh there. Evening, Mark. Someone there, look, who's just come up and put, hey. You've got to ideally click the link on the post before you come in, guys, on Facebook. And then it basically gives it permission for me to see your profile and name. If not, like someone's just said, evening there, look, that's not registered, so I can't quote your name or obviously can't quote you at all. So if you get that registered, people, yo, I can see you. We're all good. I've done my thank you, so you've missed that rubbish. Right, I can see the man's there. Awesome. I can see there's already nearly 150 people on live. Maybe you're interested in who's here. What's going on? Brilliant. Right, let's get this going then. Let's get the intro video that I've got working tonight. I didn't manage to get the Ricky Johnson one going, but this one's all good for tonight. So anyone with earphones out there, make sure they're not right up to maximum, because I've heard that sometimes this is a bit loud. So here we go then, people. Here we go. I hope you're checking that. Right, here we go. Here we go then. the legend himself, Mr. Greg Hancock.
How you doing?
Can you hear me all good, Greg?
I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you very good.
Great, man. Nice to see you. I hope that we're taking a lot of the viewers away from watching the Harry and Meghan interview tonight too.
Exactly that. I would tune into you all night, all day long, Greg, all day.
All right.
Really appreciate you coming on, mate. Absolute privilege to get you on. What an honor to get the man himself on.
Yeah, well, thank you, man. It's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate you asking and offering me to come on the show.
Mate, obviously the pleasure's all mine. Absolute legend. Followed all your career since I was a young up until you retired and everything. Been amazing. Really cool. Amazing to have you in front of me. Really appreciate it. Right then, let's get into this.
You got it. Absolutely.
A lot of the guys on, Greg. Everyone's interested in this.
Well, that's good to hear, that people still have an interest in the old guy here that's on the other side of the world these days. But you never know when I'm going to pop back over and make some noise.
Yeah, that would be cool. I will say to you that first thing I was going to ask you was, what have you been up to lately?
Oh, well, at the moment, it's, things are pretty relaxed here with the current situation, which we're probably all tired of talking about. But, with lockdowns and this new normal lifestyle that we all have to lead. But, to be honest, it's been a lot of time, more time at home, a lot of time with the kids. Things are definitely opening up more here. We've been pretty relaxed, I think, all the time. They didn't really ever force us to be in the house. We were kind of locked in, but just, encouraging to stay social distance and all that stuff, and which we all follow suit. But it's gone well. The kids are back in school a couple of days a week, the older boys, and then our youngest one, he's in school more or less 4 to 5 days a week for a couple hours a day, which has been really, really healthy for them. So besides that, it's just looking and planning for the year ahead, and things look bright. So hoping that we're going to be able to have some more time, maybe get on some airplanes and travel a little bit too. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, mate. That would be amazing. Same here in the UK. The kids are just starting to go back to school and everything. So fingers crossed we can get back to some normality pretty quick, hopefully.
Amen.
Right. Yeah, exactly that. It's driving you everyone mad now, isn't it? Right, I'm going to get into some of these guys' questions because it's a cool thing to be able to bring the race fans' questions to you live. People, obviously, it means a lot to them. So I will get straight into some of them. I can already see. I've got Simon Corbett here from Facebook. He's put, I asked this question to all the guests, but did Greg ride at Exeter?
Greg did ride at Exeter, and only one year when they combined the two leagues, where I was riding for Crayley at that time too. But they combined us where it was one big league there, and I got to go to Exeter for the first and more or less last times. I think we went there twice that year, if I got it correctly. I can't remember exactly, but yes, I did ride there, and I'm happy that I had the chance to, because that was a very special track, as everybody knows, very unique. Had an interesting safety fence. That was more designed, I think, to keep you on the track than anything. And it did just that. But it was a very interesting track to ride. There was some technique to it. And I know that you pretty much, the fast guys had to touch the fence up coming out of the fourth bend. And I remember watching Simon Wigg go around there and just in awe. My jaw was on the floor. And the best story I think I have from that is that year, both Billy and I had never been to Exeter. We'd heard crazy war stories about how dangerous it was and how close the fans could get to the riders down the straightaways. They could almost reach over and touch you on the head. And Billy literally went out on the track for the track walk and said, "I'm not going." He turned around, went back in the pits. He never looked at the track once. He got a 15-point maximum. He made every start. I had a paid maximum that night behind Billy, and the two heats we rode in like heat 13 and heat 15 together. And in those two heats, I saw Billy as we entered the first corner, and then he never looked back. He was gone. And he just said, "I just wanted to get out of there." He went straight back to the pits, sat in his pit until the next heat. He went out, never watched a heat. He said, "No way, this place scares me."
Love that. I gotta love that attitude. That's the way to do it, though, Greg, isn't it?
Well, you know what, you got to take every race as it comes, and some tracks are more difficult than others. But if you look at it as Eric Gunderson told me, look at every track as it's the best track you've ever ridden, then that's the way to go. And I think Billy did that night.
Yeah, exactly that. Don't psych yourself out, as it were. A lot of the riders I know did psych themselves out badly at that place, for sure.
For sure. It's an easy place to do that.
Yeah. Right, I got Paul Renault here. He's put, I think I watched Greg at practically every track he rode at in the UK in the 90s, etc. I'd just like to thank him for signing about 10,000 accident shots for me down the years. He'd know my daft face if he saw me, and I wondered what he thought about the season when Cradley went to Stoke.
Stoke Heathens. It was awesome. It was unique because, it was a shame for many reasons that Cradley had finally had to close their doors, but it was Mick Gardner and Sven Hayding that were part of that crew at one stage where we ended up in Stoke, and they managed to save Cradley's face there for a year, 1996 that was. And it was a great year. It was interesting because Stoke, we had never really ridden at Stoke, and suddenly I was there as my home track, and special place when they run stock cars there. The track was always interesting. Just days later when we'd have a Speedway meeting, and
bit rough.
But the camaraderie between the old Stoke fans, the Potters, and then us coming there, it was really neat because they did join forces at one point, and as hard as it was, they still made it work, and it was a good time.
Well, a lot of nice comments coming in. There's Craig Triplett himself, look, that helps Mr. Decker. He's put, at last, the main man.
I hope he's talking about me and not Luke Becker there in his photo.
Yeah, pretty sure he's talking about you.
Yeah, that's it.
I've got a few comments. Look, Greg, Paul Nice put Greg versus the royal family, no contest. I'd rather, and then
I'm not worthy.
Sharon Stedler, I'd rather watch Greg.
Thank you, Sharon. You're awesome.
If you wouldn't mind giving a shout out to Mr. Ways, actually, Greg. He's suffering at the moment. He's not. He's quite ill, and this is Dan here, his son. It'd be really nice if you could just give a shout out to Mr. Ways. That'd be cool.
Oh, heck yeah, Mr. Ways. I'm sorry to hear that you're going through some tough times, man, and not knowing your whole situation. I can only wish you well. It's never fun, and just try to keep your head up, man. Stay positive.
Top man, Greg. Really appreciate that. Thank you, mate. Right, Danny Hughes here. He's put, I did Billy and Greg's training schools. I presume that means dates back in the 90s. Do Greg think more riders should do more? On the 1900s?
Well, they have the 1900s, right? Yeah, that's kind of how it feels sometimes. Billy and I did a couple of those training schools back in the 1900s there, and I think they were really, for us, they were really exciting. They were informative. You got to see a lot of the young talent from all spectrums, of the levels there. But it would be cool to have more riders do it. The hardest part these days is the riders are so busy, guys that are at that top level and racing in all the leagues. It's really tough to get an extra day off. Back then we somehow managed it. We were riding in the UK, and we were riding in the Swedish league, the Polish league, and the World Championship, and to be able to find extra time to do training schools was not easy. We were doing between 100 and 120 races a year, so it's and that's only in so many 5.5 months. But we managed to make it work. We had a lot of good stuff with Exide Batteries. They were very proactive in our program, and helped us to promote and do a lot of things with the kids, which obviously entertains the sponsor. It gives the sponsor something back as well. So it was a win-win for all of us, the guys learning and us teaching, and as a promotional opportunity.
Got Gary Steggs come on and put, great to see you, Greg.
Respect, Gary. Always good to hear from you too, buddy. Legend right there too, without a doubt. Amy
Chappell's put, the grin. What a guy.
I have my moments, I guess.
My brother's
the grin's always there, though.
Yeah, see that. My brother's just come on, Mr. Hancock. Whoa, what a bloke! Special Speedway rider.
Dude, takes one to know one.
Oh, Danny Hughes put, what does Greg think of the Polish rules?
Which one? The Polish rules are, Poland is probably, there's been a lot of controversy over the rules, and I've been a victim. I've been part of a lot of things, and I've never really held back from opinions on things, and I disagree with some things, and I agree with a lot of it. But we all entitled to an opinion, right? And what Poland has been doing over the years is building a professional league, which is what they have now. And the contracts are very, very in depth and to the point. So although I might disagree with a lot of points, it would take more than one person to help to get that to be a compromise. You're stuck on your own, and to get all the riders under one roof and agree that we can't stand for this. We need to stand up as a whole, as a front, to try to voice our opinion and not be sort of walked all over at some point. But, being the riders in one room and then stepping out of the room, it's always tough to keep everybody under one roof. And, the league itself in Poland, they have their demands. And if all the riders agree to those demands, and then there's nothing that can be said, nobody can complain. And although I would like to see some compromise there, I think that it's really, really difficult for the risk versus the reward. You have to be, everybody needs to be on the same page. And right now, I think it's a little bit leaning towards one side. So I would like to see that change, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. Thanks for that. I got someone here on YouTube. Mr. Rose Photos put, I'm watching from the Black Country on my 50th birthday. Paul Rose. Greg is my all-time favorite rider, a real legend of Speedway.
Welcome to the club anyway, Paul. The 50 club is a good one. And I turned 50 during COVID. That was really weird. But hey, what the heck, I'll never forget it.
No, definitely.
Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday.
Fair play. Oh, Craig's also put, I've seen a couple of these comments already, Greg. When are you returning to Speedway? You still have a lot to offer.
Well, on the track itself, as far as a competitor, not anytime soon. And but there are a lot of things in the background that are going on at the moment. And if all this COVID stuff starts to sort of open up a little bit, allow us to get out of here, there are some things that you might see me around sooner than later.
Ooh, sounds exciting. Got Stuart Harrier, Lawrence's brother. He's put, hi, Lee and Greg. Who was your hero? And can I ask, did you ever have a go at flat track in the US? And if so, how was it?
Are you reading my mind? I'm actually going to Daytona here on Wednesday with my longtime buddy, Kelsey Gordon from NJK Leathers. We're going to Daytona for the flat track, the opening of the AFT series this week. And it's going to be awesome. I have ridden some flat track bikes in the past, but I haven't ridden anything recently. However, I've managed to befriend quite a few of the guys, and some of them are obviously monster athletes too. So we get to see these guys periodically. Yeah. I hope to get involved a little bit, not on a racing side of it, but to mix with these guys a little bit, and been trying to help the American Federation to find a suitable youngster or anybody that can represent the U.S. in the Flat Track World Championship. So we are actively working behind the scenes right now with that. I'm also working with Endless Tires a little bit on the development of a flat track tire that I shouldn't say I'm working directly on the development, but trying to help them to further some information and see if they can get something good in the future.
I think he's mentioned something about the hero thing. I presume in Stewie means about who was your hero when you were a youngster, I presume.
From the flat track, I think my all-time hero, without a doubt, is Jay Springsteen. The Springer, as they call him. He was the man. And there's been some great guys, Chris Carr. It's a massive, massive list of great riders. And today you have guys like Jared Mees and then Henry Wiles in the singles. I mean, there's so many good dudes. The young kid, Dallas Daniels, is a ripper. And I've also been watching Aiden Roos Evans a little bit too as a youngster coming up. So it's going to be cool. It's going to be fun to watch.
Cool. I got Vaughan Williams, who was a schoolboy champion in the UK in motocross. He's put, Greg, if you could change one thing about Speedway, what would it be and why?
Well, I can't say that I could change anything in Speedway because it's already one righteous, awesome, badass sport. There's nothing wrong with it as far as a spectacle. I think when it comes to the bigger picture, when you start to look at tracks and safety and more importantly promotion and media and stuff like that, I think there are a lot of things that could be done that would definitely clean it up. The UK has got a lot of ideas or opinions about what the UK could do, but some things don't change. They don't know reason to change it or fix it if it's not broke, right? So, but you've seen a lot of leagues have excelled over the years, the Polish league, the Swedish league, in different manners. And I think right now, where England is now at the British league, there are so many things that could be done and take advantage of what has just gone on over the last few years, and especially this last 12 months. That English or British Speedway could definitely do a revamp and come back to being a very solid and we're going to say influential league in the world of Speedway.
Well, hopefully someone will listen to you in the know then, Greg, and you can get them opinions over. Would be good.
Well, they're just opinions, I've got a different hat these days, but I still play the hat as a rider very, very much, and more solid that way because, that's just what I know and love.
Right, I've got Mr. Andy Hobbs here from Swindon. He's put, tonight you have a showman, a gentleman, a racer, and most important, the nicest guy in the sport. He spent 2 hours in my kitchen. How good is his memory?
Mr. Hobbs, I know you will. And I did spend a few hours in your kitchen, and that's one amazing guy. You probably know him yourself, right?
Yeah,
Andy,
I do.
You're a rad dude.
Man with the van. Yeah, man with the van.
There you go, right? That dude has been very, very helpful. He's been a massive supporter of the sport, of riders, of teams, etc. So, dude, I remember you very well, and I will never forget you. And I hope that we get to have a cold one together one day.
Yeah, and hopefully if you get to come over, you can get you on his nice big boat as well down. That'd be cool.
Hey, look forward to that too.
Exactly that.
All right.
You'd like that, Greg, trust me. It's lovely. Right, I've got what a legend. There's no name of this one. I was there the day Greg had his first laps around Dudley Wood, and when he stuck his finger up to the wolves.
I would never do that. If I did, I said number one.
Yeah. Oh,
that's
I like the way you got that one. Exactly that. Oh, here we go. Let's see. This is what everyone's going to be saying, aren't they? What would bring Greg out of retirement?
If we could go back and start when I was 18 again, it would be the ultimate way to bring me back out of retirement. So I'm 18 in the head, not 18 in the body, but it doesn't matter. I still feel like I could run with those guys today. However, my racing ship has sailed, and I don't regret any of it, and I have no I miss it terribly. I really, really do. And every day is a struggle just to get that mentality and that get up and go. This COVID thing's been killing me, just the fact that, I like every winter I come home and I put my bag away with my passport and my computer, and I'm not going to travel for, 3 or 4 months. And now I would give anything to take that bag out and put my passport on the table and let's go. Right. So, but hey, I had a great career. I'm not done with Speedway and that means, but as far as racing, I don't see any retirement.
In all seriousness, yes. In all seriousness, Greg, it must be difficult when you're sort of at the top of your game, even still, like you were older, as we all know, but you were still at the top of the game, still striving for titles, being in the mix, podiums, Grand Prix wins. It can't be easy to just switch off from that, like trying to chill, as it were, not striving all the time, improving your bikes, improving everything, testing. It must be not easy to change that mentality, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. It's taking the year off, first of all, when my wife got diagnosed, and that was tough in itself. Just like, oh my gosh, we literally our life changed overnight, just so quickly, and you have so much like, what about me? What about the racing? What about life? How are we going to survive? What are we going to do? What about just the everyday? How are we going to just manage? And kids and school and travel and houses on both sides. It's so much to consider, and but like anything, as human beings, we are problem solvers, right? And fortunately, the main thing was to get my wife healthy first, and it's been a process, and she's doing very well now, and the future looks really good. So there's always going to be speed bumps. There's always going to be things that hopefully they're only speed bumps. We don't ever want to have to cross that path that we went through. Or she went through mainly, but as a family, just to be there by her side and help her get through it. And then coming to the point of like, oh my gosh, having a whole year off, and I knew that I was still going to have some months missing coming into 2020 because there was still some treatment stuff that follow-up stuff she was going through, and I didn't want to the risk and the stress of me traveling and worrying about racing. And suddenly I started thinking about that stuff. And, as you say, the risk versus the reward started to take over. And I just decided that if I'm thinking in that way, I can't get on the motorcycle to go racing, because then your mind is not 100% focused. So that was an adjustment, and making the decision was the hardest thing ever. And I think the craziest thing was making that announcement, and it was actually on Valentine's Day last year. So my wife and I were laughing about it. I'm like, wow, Valentine's Day, what a day.
Yeah.
So
love is all around and all
anyway, yeah. So Speedway was the other woman in my relationship there, so I had to say goodbye to it on that day.
Well, I'm glad to hear she's doing well and everything. What's her actual thoughts of you being retired? What she thought of the whole?
Well, she's been my biggest motivator for so many years, since the day we met, and I mean, I went through numerous hard times, and, even though you have the grin, you always have difficult times, and you're trying to find the way forward. I had points in 2009 and 10 where I was like, gosh, this is maybe it's not meant to be, it's time to start thinking about something else, because it's the training, it's the testing, it's the mental game of just trying to win. And I only wanted to win, and, when at one point I said to her, maybe this is it, this is, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And, cause I just feel like I'm chasing my tail. And, it was just a few very motivating and inspiring words that she said to me that made me think twice. And she said, you're by far not ready to make any changes in your racing career. Just, you need to take a few deep breaths, and maybe you need to do a couple of things differently than you've been doing. And I'm sure it's going to be good. And boy, it sure turned around from that point. So from late 2010 onwards, it just took off like I was a kid again. And so making that change to retire, as much as we were going through, she was going through tough times, I should say. And together as a family, we realized that the stress of the racing was probably a big factor in a lot of this. And I think overall you start to understand it too, as, I worry about them constantly. If I have to take off, if one of the kids is sick, and I'm just one of those guys. I constantly have something in my head. I want to make sure everything is right before I leave. And if something goes wrong, or something isn't 100% right, then I'm kind of concerned. But she has full control, and better control than me most of the time anyway. So I don't know why I was so worried about it, but it's just, it was in my nature. So I think now we lead a much more relaxed lifestyle as far as that goes, because we know we have our feet on the ground in one place. We don't need to pack up and leave for 7, 8, 9 months. And, it's probably been the greatest thing for the kids, and the fact that they have some routine, they can plan for things, they can develop friendships with friends on a regular basis. And we have the beach, like 3 miles down the road. So life can't be too bad.
Yeah. They got dad around a lot more. I'm sure that's really cool, and you guys should enjoy life. So that's all good.
Yeah, we're making the most of it as much as we can. So the best thing we had is the beach, because during COVID you couldn't do anything, but you could go to the beach.
I see some of that on your Instagrams, and that looks very nice. Really nice.
It's really nice. Yeah, we're fortunate to be, grown up and live in this part of the world, for sure. It's got its perks without a doubt, but you only have 2 seasons in the year, and it's pretty much kind of spring and summer.
Gotta make the most of it.
Yeah, we do.
I got Adam Poulter here off of YouTube. He's put, do you and Billy still see much of each other?
I don't see Billy that much. I'm in contact with Billy periodically, and he's got his business up in Northern California selling Speedway spares, and he trains some of the kids and riders up there too. So I also have a small business here where I've had for quite a number of years, and distributing some products for the Speedway, and some of it's with cables and stuff. So we have a little bit of business together, and we talk periodically, but like everything, we've got different lifestyles. He lives about 7, 8 hours away from me, so we don't see each other very regular. And but it's just, there's always something in the sport that draws us together to have a conversation.
Cool. I've got another legend here, Mr. Enduro champion, Mr. Paul Edmondson. Great guy and a
Dude, you're
true
not
champion.
kidding.
Yeah.
Gosh, talk about takes one to know one. There's a great guy and a true
Wow.
champion right there too. And yeah, Paul, thank you very much for that. I became very good friends and worked together with Jeff Nielsen from the enduro world in Sweden too. So Jeff speaks highly of Paul as well. And it's been fun that I've got to mix with different sports. But Paul's a rad guy, man. I utmost respect.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on, Paul. Got James Monster Brown here. I have so much respect for you, what you have done for Speedway. And do you think Tai will win the world championship again? I think that might mean. Love you, bro.
Yeah. Love you too, bro. Hey, Tai, the ball's in Tai's court, right? So it's up to him. If he wants to win the world championship again, without a doubt, he can win it again and again. He's got all the ability in the world. And as you saw last year, he had a couple of small things that just didn't go right. And maybe sometimes, it's easy for me to stand here and be a critic. And I know what I see when I watch Tai or when I watch Magic or when I watch Smarslick. And I being on the other side of the fence now and looking at it through different eyes, it's amazing how much more you see than when you're actually in the game. And I think that if Tai is hungry enough and really wants to win, absolutely, he will win another world title without a doubt.
Cool. We've got Michael. Is that Michael here? It's evening, guys.
Michael Reese.
Yeah. What does Greg think about Speedway going electric? Michael Reese. Thanks for the question.
Michael Reese, he can answer that question for you. So this man is producing an electric Speedway bike as we speak, amongst other things. Okay. I've been following. I picked up on something a while ago when I was researching electric stuff, and I saw his post. So I started following him, and he's developing a very interesting piece of machinery. So I look forward to throwing that thing sideways one of these days. He's left an open offer, and I think that the future of motorcycles is definitely going that way. I want to say sadly it's going to go that way, but actually not sadly, because those things are awesome. We're going to miss the noise, we're going to miss the smell, but I'm sure that he can make some good noise and smell from that thing too.
If you can get something sideways, and then we'll take it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Definitely take it. Gary Stead has put, I had a few races with Greg. I never beat him much, but what a career he had. Great years in '97.
Yeah, you know what? I think he beat me more times than he's given himself credit for. So it was probably, we raced each other quite a few times during those years. And yeah, '97 was a great year. Unfortunately, I got to know Gary pretty well and be around, during those times. And that all is thanks to my long career in the UK, so during the '90s there, the 1900s, if we keep referring to it like that, it was good times. And Steady's a legend, I just absolutely, it's I'm just stoked that he stays, involved in the game in any way, shape, or form that he can. It's awesome.
Yeah, 100% going to get him on. We're definitely getting Steady on. Mr. Dave Jamieson's here. He's in New Guinea. I've been looking forward to this one.
Wow, evening from New Guinea there, right on. There you go. Hey man, I'm glad you've tuned in to watch this. And again, I'm just stoked that people care and they want to hear what's going on. And yeah, they like to ask good questions. And for me, I haven't done many interviews in recent weeks, so it's always nice to get back in the game again. Beautiful.
Got Gary O'Hare's come on as well. He's put, hello, Greg. Did you ever ride a Westlake?
I did. I rode a lot of Westlakes. And for me, that was more of my 500 career was Westlake in the early days. I didn't ride many Jawas. I never got to ride the old twin cam Jawa or even the single cams as they were at that point. But I came right out of my 250 class on a 250 Westlake that I had with my last year of racing juniors, and then went on to a 500 that I got from Bruce Penhall. Gave me my first 500 bike. It was one of his old ones, so that was a Westlake. And yeah, man, I had a good time. I even took one Westlake with me to England my first year and had it as a second bike because I couldn't afford a second one then. And it sat there, and I only used it a handful of times, and even at that stage it was way below par.
God, we got some legends all joining us on tonight. They come from all over. Got Marvin Cox here as well. Say hi. Stay safe, dude. Regards to all in California. Cocker. Awesome.
Cocker, I will send you regards to Odom and Uncle Doug and all your crew over here. You're the that dude's a legend right there too, and a lot of great years of racing with him. Became really good friends with him, and I got the utmost respect for Cocker. He's all in all. I mean, a true legend right there.
Yeah, he's coming on as well, so we're forming a queue of great legends. Here's another one.
That dude's got some stories.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amanda Castagna now as well. Big Red Chief, and nice to see you again, even if only in a video. Hugs to the family and stay safe. Let's hope to have the chance to meet live again soon. Lots of things to discuss. Wink.
That's it. Well, hey, Armando, he calls me Big Red. I call him General Custer. It's we've made jokes about this for years, and we have a lasting joke. He used to refer to me in the racing world as taking scalps in my racing. It was a joke of every time I raced, get some scalps. And good friendship. I raced with him for a lot of years, and I been involved with some FIM projects with him. Thanks to Armando, got me involved with some of the environmental group there, and definitely took part in some of the their Youth 250 programs and some of that stuff, and been to some FIM award banquets as a representative for the FIM and the environmental group. So good times. I really enjoyed it, and like you said, I look forward to getting back. We had started talking about a lot of possibilities there for a while, but COVID definitely shut us all down.
Mr. Paul Hurry as well. Evening, Greg and Lee. Hope all is good with you, Greg.
Hey, what's up, Paul? Man, again, there's a guy I haven't seen for a lot of years, but talk about some battles. We had a lot of great battles over the years, but with him and Billy and I, and he was the king around Arena Essex there for a lot of years too. That dude could turn a bike hard, and yeah, good times, man. I mean, the stories can go on forever, and some of the battles were insane. They were so tough, depending on which track you went to. They all had local matadors, and he definitely was one of those.
Got a lot of nice comments coming in saying legend and what a guy and everything.
Hey, thanks, John.
Too many to put up at once. Got Paul Spencer here. He's put, would Wilbur ride in the UK to start his career off? And would you consider joining him in a team for a season to help him out on track?
Well, I think if you ask Wilbur that question, he's going to ride in every league as soon as he can. So the UK is one of the best training grounds, if not the best training ground for a lot of kids, and it always was for me. I hope that he can get over there and get a year or 2 or 3 under his belt if he keeps going the way he's going. And, of course, if he allowed me to stand next to him at that point, I'm sure I would get a kick out of it. But he's got his own program now, so I take a side seat and I'm just there to answer any questions that he asks. Yep.
Can't wait to see all that happen as well. Got Dave right here, the nicest guy you will ever meet in the pits at any Speedway meeting, and probably the best skater as well. You will see, could still mix it now easily. Legend forever. Very nice.
You're a kind man, Dave. I respect, buddy. I really appreciate the kind words. And yeah, I love what I did. I love what I do. And, being a good friend, I'm always respectful, but I just wanted to win.
This is an interesting one. I've not seen one of them sort of questions before. No name on it, but what's your favorite film and song, Greg?
Oh man, favorite film. I you know what? I'm still, one of my favorite films ever is Caddyshack with Bill Murray from back in the day. Chevy Chase is in it too. I just, that film still makes me laugh today, and it was from a period of time. But there's been some awesome films over the years, and some that there's too many to say which is my favorite. But that one still goes down as one of the all times. And as a song, gosh, that's tough. I'm a big fan of a local band here, which is, they're big, and it's called Social Distortion. And I've been a fan of them since I was in high school with my good buddies. And I think when you ask for a song, the only thing that comes to my mind always, and probably because of my career, is Story of My Life by Social D.
Nice. Got someone on YouTube here has put, Mr. Hancock, who was your favorite British rider?
Whatever, Billy. Let me answer that one for you. That's a tough one to answer.
I know
Favorite
watching as well.
Yeah,
all
right. You
watching
hope
Greg.
so, right? I have so many favorites. You know what? Again, I was fortunate because I got to go through quite a few generations of the racing,
Yeah.
and being in the UK. You know, the guys that stand out for me in the early years, especially, is Joe Screen, who I'm still very, very good friends with, and is got to be one of the most talented, most amazing chilled riders you could ever imagine, right? Yeah, then you got Mark Lorem, got Javi, dude, Wiggy, you know, there's too many good ones. You can't say which is the best. It's like, I couldn't even give you a team of 7 riders that I could say are the best 7 because there's too many of them. There's just, I had good times. I had a lot of inspirational races. I learned a lot from these guys. And fortunately, being in the UK, you know, Simon Cross was probably one of the very first ones for me, who not only was an amazing rider, a grass track rider, he was a mentor for me. I got to live with him for a year. So that puts him kind of at the top of the list for a lot of that, because I got the kind of the father instinct, or the father figure from him at the same time. Him and his wife, Andrew, they were really, really good to me and taught me a lot, especially during his injury years when he was trying to make a comeback, is when he really put a lot of time and effort into me. So a lot of respect for Crossy.
Yeah, I think his wife's Andrea is on Facebook, so hopefully she's having a look. She
Yeah,
sometimes does normally.
he usually fires some sort of verbal abuse at me, even if I'm nice to him. So yeah.
yeah. He was always taking the fun. I think he was taking the fun out of Bruce as well. When I had Bruce and Eric on together about the what's the Cradley one? The Golden Hammer, isn't it? That's it.
Yeah, the Golden Hammer.
That's it. Crossy was going, I've got one of these as well, Bruce.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I don't have one, Crossy, and I know that will make you higher than me again, so it's okay. I'll always look up to him.
I'm sure he'll be bringing that up now on social media.
Yeah.
He's a proper legend. Great guy. Psycho, as it were, isn't it?
Psycho, yeah.
Paul Sullivan
by name and by nature.
Yeah, psychos are scary. Exactly that. Paul Sullivan here has put legend, hero, icon. Hope your wife is on the mend, Mr. Hancock. The world's greatest speedway rider. We miss you in the UK. Come back for Cardiff this year, please.
You're awesome, Paul. Thank you very much, buddy. Those are some fine words. Like I said, I loved what I did in the racing world, and gave it everything on and off the track. So for me, it's a pleasure. And I really appreciate that you guys appreciate me in the same manner. So I hope to be in Cardiff this year. If everything works out, there's a good chance that I could be. But right now, everything is just kind of like juggling, right? We don't know which way it's going to go.
Yeah. There's another nice one here. Got Dave Avery. He's put, I'm watching live, enjoying it. Please, Lee, could you just say a big thank you to Greg from a Cradley supporter for all the entertainment and enjoyment he provided? There will never be another Greg Hancock. Thank you. Lovely.
It's my pleasure, man. Thank you very much, Dave. I love your profile picture there with Slade too. That's awesome. That's cool, man. Thanks.
And Dan just come on when you said shout out to his dad. He put, thank you so much for that. My dad and me are very much appreciated, Lee. And thank you so much, Greg. What a legend. Thanks, champ. And thanks, Lee. Awesome.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
We've got Frank Sorensen here. I had one of these questions as well. Greg, what's the story with your rider number 45?
It's simple. It was Bruce Penhall's riding number. When I was a kid, he was always my ultimate hero, and I had a lot of heroes, but there was something about Bruce that was always extra special. You know, the guy, he had all the points, all those aspects of, you know, the racer, the surfer, the California guy, good looking dude. And you know, he went to Europe and won the world championship in a very short period, and a fine, you know, I mean, and like Cinderella story, right? The way it all happened and what he did, and then going out of the sport to go to Hollywood. Could it be any better? You know, it's awesome. So for me, anyway, Bruce he was very iconic in the world of Speedway, and fortunately was a friend of my dad's and our whole group of people around the Costa Mesa, Newport Beach area. So we were really, really lucky to be around them and fortunate. And Bruce took a liking to me as a kid and supported and helped me out, taught me a lot, helped me with equipment. And I just remember I always looked up to him, and I still look up to him today, because he just had that kind of a notion that he was just a good person to have as a hero. So he's built a really great business now, him and his wife, Lori, and their son, Ryan. They've got like a killer business in the concrete concrete world here. And he's just he's doing great. So I still look up to him. I still get periodic advice from him, and I'm just happy that he always answers the phone when you call.
What a legend he is as well. Simon Corbett here has put, was Cradley the best team you rode for in the UK? Obviously, we know you rode for quite a lot of teams in the UK. You had some great career in the UK.
You know what? Being in that team, obviously, I was there from day one. So I basically got I got all of the software installed into my racing career from Dudley Wood. And, you know, between that and living with Lance King my first year, and the Cradley kind of past or history goes from, you know, obviously Bruce Penhall, Bobby Schwartz, and Lance King, all three Cradley riders and all three heroes of mine. And Bobby lived with us here in the US, but he was the one who got us into the sport. And Lance King is the one who basically by the time I got to the UK, Lance took over for me and let me live with him and became my father figure my first year, showed me how to get from A to B and how to find Dudley Wood. First of all, that was always interesting in the beginning, trying to find your way around and just to get there. But no, I absolutely loved my time at Cradley. And it's, you know, I think, you know, being a heathen, there's something special. There was a lot of world champions that came out of there, and just throw a few of the names out there with the Simon Crosses and the Alan Grahams and the Eric Gunnarsons and the Jano Petersons and it goes on and on. The Bruce Penhalls. I mean, there's so many names. Bastable. There's great. It was a great time. So it definitely had its highlights in my career, and I enjoyed my time at Reading, at Oxford. And then obviously getting a league title at Poole as well. Coventry. I had some great years at Coventry. I'm just surprised and kind of bummed that we never got a league title with any of the teams until I got to Poole, and was so stoked that Matt Ford called me to come in and cover for Chris Holder. And had that year there, and we went on to win a title. So I did get a title in the UK thanks to Matt Ford giving me that opportunity, and I'm just stoked. I had some great years over there.
Yeah, that's nice. I'm just going to show you a few photos from the Cradley days that I know people are like looking at. Got some beauties here.
There's an NJK suit right there too. The last one.
That. I loved that when you had
go.
that set up as well. It was so nice.
These are all great photos from Jeff Davies too. He took all those pictures.
Beauties, aren't they?
Yeah.
Got a couple of you.
Gosh,
and Janet
blast from the past. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's Todd Wiltshire in the background as well. It's probably Reading, I would imagine.
Could be, huh? Me and Ronnie Corey.
You and Rocket.
That's the Rocket there, yeah. Oh, there's PK too, and Duke Ermolenko.
Yeah.
Gerd Hamburg in the back.
Yeah.
Those morning races. Yeah. Gosh, good shots, man. There you go. There's a legendary period right there. There's Andy Graham too.
Yeah. Jill Graham just come on earlier and said hi before you come on as well. Jill Graham, that I did one with Andy as well. That was quite cool. She sorted him out a laptop and everything and got him on. He was good.
Oh, that's so great.
Is
that Peter Nolan in the back there?
Yeah, Peter Nolan. Yeah. I've got some nice ones of you as a youngster as well. Got to check these out.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that was San Bernardino. Look at the dirt on that track.
Yeah, there's a lot of dirt, isn't there?
Yep. I was number 94 back then because Josh Larson had number 45. He stole that number before I could get it.
I see. Some nice.
Cool. That's John Cook's. That was John Cook's Jawa you just had there. I was riding.
That one there, was it?
Right there. That one there. Yeah, I was riding his Jawa 500 out at San Bernardino on a practice day one year.
Now you say that, I recognize like the back end, probably the white disc and everything. Now you say that.
Yeah, I think it's at the. Yeah. There you go. That was one of my early years. Yeah. From the LA Times.
You were still cool then.
There you go. There's my Bruce Penhall sponsored Honda 250 right there.
That's a beauty.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice, isn't it?
There you go. Me and Steve Lucero. That was the bike right there. There's my 500 that Bruce gave me.
There was a lot of dirt out there as well, wasn't it, on them small tracks, which can't be easy to turn on them when they like that. They're quite grippy.
Exactly. There's Kelly Inman there. Kelly Inman is the guy I'm talking to. He's the promoter of the City of Industry racetrack here in the U.S. now. So he and I have been like total buddies since, man, I guess I was maybe 9, 10 years old, maybe a little bit older, 11. Me and my dad.
That's cool.
That's how it starts right there.
That's how it starts. How old were you then, Greg? How old are you roughly there?
Right there. So that's like 1981. So I would have been 11 there.
What sort of age did you get to then, Greg, when you sort of thought, right, I'm going to head to the UK and make this a living?
I was 18 when I did that, but I mean, the plan was that from about that age there where you're looking at me, that's what I had it in my head. I want to be like Bobby Schwartz and Bruce Penhall and the Moran brothers. And John Cook. I'm going to Europe. That was in my head. So it was, I might've gone a little bit too early. I feel, when I look back on it, maybe leaving at 18, I wasn't quite ready. It's still a little green and I was injured. But I just knew that once I got the offer, I wasn't going to say no.
Okay. It must have been quite a shock when you come over to the UK, was it? When you first come over? Must have been quite a culture change, weather.
It was a massive culture change. I was just talking to some guys the other day, and we got into a conversation about different aspects of life and where we all started and where our careers took us. And I said probably one of the biggest culture shocks for me was going from California to the UK the first time. And it sounds crazy because then after those years of going from the UK to the Czech Republic and then the UK to Poland, I was like, whoa. And I thought the culture shock from the US to England was interesting because it was, first of all, you drove on the other side of the road. The weather was definitely wasn't Southern California weather. We didn't have the opportunity for different food sources everywhere that they had in the UK at that time. It's the language barrier. It's everything to do from the heating in the houses, how you washed your clothes. And I mean, everything was different. And it was just like, wow, this is really, you don't realize how good you have it, or you want to say, how do I want to say it? You don't realize what you got until you don't have it. Right. So you grow up in that, and then you see, and you kind of, if you go into it with tunnel vision, you're going to have a horrible time because if you expect everything to be like it is in your home country, you're going to be in trouble. But then you start to open it up and you start to look and appreciate what people are doing and showing you. And then you understand the difference in lifestyles and foods and cultures. That for me, if I could take all these different countries that I went to over the years and marry them with the US, you'd have the perfect world, and that's how I always looked at things. But I'm just grateful because I got the chance to do that. I got to go to the Czech Republic and Poland when they were just coming out of the from behind the wall there too, and see it when it was still kind of in that raw state, and to look at those places now compared to what they were, unreal, and the appreciation of the people, what they had, and the older generations, they have a little bit of everything still left in them, so it's been a big adjustment for them to come into the world that we live in today.
Got Sean Courtney's come on as well, but what a great bloke.
Dude, again, takes one to know one. That guy's a great bloke. He's just, we've had some good times together in the past, and from the racing to off the track as well. He's just a rad guy all around. I got a lot of respect for him too.
All right, what's up, Sean? Yeah, I loved Sean Courtney. I remember him. He was a good rider as well. Bob Stacey's put, what was your favorite bike and engine combination? What year and who built it?
Oof. It's really, that's a tough one because the year that I won the world championship, 97, I definitely had really good bikes, good engines built by Eddie Bull. And Eddie had done some extensive research and started designing some special cams and changing the headwork a little bit. And I remember that he found a combination working with some F1 guys. There you go. That was the period right there. You see the SCT on just underneath the on the bottom side of the bike there above the valve cover. Eddie, he found a combination work with these F1 guys that just was just like a game changer. And the bike was so easy to ride. It was so responsive, and just, it worked, and it worked for me. It worked for my style. And I had a lot of great success with that engine combination. And, before people start to catch up, I had a couple of good years, and 98 wasn't a great year, but that was more mental than it was anything else. So, and that bloke right there, my mechanic, Mr. Craig Hadley,
Craig, yeah.
one of the best people I have ever met, and the most happy-go-lucky sort of dudes that just, we kind of like, he's a little older than me, but I felt like that we just grew up together, even though he might have had a little more experience with me than I did at that stage. It was just like we were just kids having a good old time, and I learned a lot from him at the same time, and still really good friends with him. So we had one world championship together, our first one with him and Roger Soderberg, a Swedish guy. It was another longtime friend. So these guys will forever live in my great world of motorcycle racing.
I also remember as well, like as the reigning champion from 97, I remember, I'm sure it was 98 when they changed the rules to, is that like you had 2 rides if you was in 3rd or 4th, then you dropped out of the GP, wasn't it? It was crazy.
Yeah, it was a knockout system there, and I got knocked
wow.
out the first. I remember it was the first race of the year was in Prague, I think, that year in 98, and I did 2 heats and went home, and I was like,
my God.
whoa.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy how quickly things can change. But for me, that it was all mental. My equipment was great. So if anything, I let my engine guys down and my mechanics down, because I just was like, I think I was still so overwhelmed with the fact that I was world champion.
Because it was that was the year, wasn't it? You had the yellow shoey helmet, I think it was, with the Hancock down the mouth bit, wasn't it? I remember.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did you have names for
engines?
Some of you guys have like nicknames for engines and things like that. Did you have nicknames for engines and things like that?
Oh, numerous. And that was the fun of it, I think, at the year is naming the engines, and then having to find the engine. Sometimes you didn't want to name an engine until you actually wrote it, so you could tell what suited it. I mean, we went from everything from Coolio to we called one Brad after my nephew. I had gosh, now they're all going to go away. We had so many, man. We used to giggle all the time, but Coolio was one of my favorites at one point, and Brad was another one. It was good. It was really good. So yeah, we named them all. They all kind of slipped my mind now. They became numbers later on, or the color of the cover on the valve cover there was kind of the way we would dictate which one was which.
I remember this. Remember when you had the whole Team X side and everything? That was a pretty cool setup.
It sure was. That was a really good period for I think for Billy and I, for sure. Billy was world champion there in 96, and when we were with Team X-Side, I won the following year, 97. So he was second. So we were first and third in 96 and first and second in 97. And X-Side was in a good place at that time too. The company was doing well, and we were fortunate to have Tony Summers, who was MD or marketing director for the company at that point. And he basically, coming in, he was a Cradley fan, and bought into the whole game with us, and then he educated us so much about sponsorship. We developed Team X-Side, ran with that for about 3 years really, and had a great time. And then things changed within the company, and there you go. That was 99, I think that one there is. And that's when things started to change with X-Side. They didn't have the same kind of we couldn't get the same support that we had before. The company was changing, but they still helped us out. And again, we learned a lot thanks to Tony Summers and X-Side batteries.
I see you, obviously you're getting into helping the guys, and I know Decker was one of the guys you've been sort of helping. I see your videos of helping him doing the starts and showing him the ways, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
Do you enjoy doing that, Greg, passing on your experiences? Is that really cool for you? Like, really enjoy that part?
I really enjoy it. And this picture here, that's actually Brock Nickel there that I was helping out. But helping Luke, I've been helping Luke now for the better part of 3 years. And he's a great kid too. I mean, working with all these guys, there's so many different aspects from, one's ability is just insanely talented, and the other one might not have, he has to work harder at his ability, but he's got a really hard working minded soul there. So he's prepared to do the hard work, and it's going to take him probably a little bit longer to get to reach that goal. And it might be the kid who's got all the talent, but at some point those guys are both going to be so successful, and just at different times, and one's going to get it quick and one's going to have to work harder at it. And hopefully, injury doesn't prevent them from going any further in their careers. they keep me young. You know, I see what all the things that I went through, the teething problems, the baby steps you got to go through, but they're also young. They learn fast, you know, these guys, they're good. And that Brock Nickel is extremely talented. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree, as they say. His dad was a very talented motocross racer and a speedway rider and just a bike rider in general. And so you can see that kid has definitely got all those traits and probably even some more. So it's just fun to watch how they go. Luke's got to work really, really hard. He's not as talented, I think, naturally, and has to work harder at it. And you know, breaking guys of bad habits is the most difficult part. Luke has some habits that we've been working on for a couple of years now, and it's not always easy because you always kind of fall back on what you know, and sometimes it's you just got to let go of that to make the next step. So that's where he is now.
Got Jimbo's on.
Lovely. There he is.
Lovely. The
man, the myth, right there. That's he's a legend, a hero too, right?
Yeah,
there's a lot of them.
Swindon for me.
Yeah, exactly right. For sure. He was the man around there, and lovely says it all.
Yeah.
So he's a fellow American nowadays.
Yes, he keeps winding us up with his videos.
I know, that's good.
I'm
going to be
chilling and all that. I'm like, wow.
I know, typical him, right?
I'm
going to be close to him in a few days.
Oh yeah.
Oh right, yeah. We're going to Daytona, but I don't know how far that is from where Jimmy's at. But I doubt that he'll come and visit me.
Just put the gauntlet down to him there.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
There you go, Jimmy. Meet up with Greg, and don't forget you got to come on for an interview as well.
That's right.
Craig has put as well, Eddie Ball, the master mechanic. Had a great relationship with him, Greg.
Very good. You know, Eddie, he lived in Tamworth too, so he took care of, you know, he was very influential for a lot of riders back in the day, from Eric Anderson, Bruce Penhall, Bobby Schwartz, you name it. I think he had his hand on so many guys' engines throughout their careers. Lance King, many of them. Eddie he took over when I came over there. He built my first Godden, then built all my GMs, and pretty much took care of me right up through the time that I kind of started to really branch out and actually moved over to Sweden. When I left the UK is when I kind of started putting a little bit more effort into looking for other guys to try a different type of an engine combination. And I came back to Eddie a lot, and Eddie still took care of a lot of my stuff in the UK, but it was really fun to try new things. But Eddie, for me, you know, the guy, he burned the midnight oil for us for a lot of years. I lived close to him in the UK there, and I can't tell you how many times you were calling him on the way home from a race, like, Ed, I think this happened. Can you take a look at this thing? And we would drop the motor off on the side of his house on the way home, and the next morning he'd give you a call and, okay, it's ready to pick up. So I mean, that's priceless service right there. And just him and his late wife Betty and their daughter Carrie, they took such good care of us. And just always made sure that we were well looked after. So Eddie's a really good man, and yeah, he should go down as a pillar for the sport.
I got Paul Renault here. But I remember asking Greg in person once if there was any speedway tracks in Canada, as I wasn't sure. I wondered though, what is the strangest or weirdest track he's ever rode at? I don't think he ever got to race Trelawney.
No, I don't remember riding Trelawney either. The strangest, weirdest tracks, those ones are hard to say. I think Australia were some of the strangest, weirdest tracks for me, because some of these showground tracks that they raced on over there, the Sydney showgrounds or even Brisbane, the ECA, those tracks were so narrow. Some of them, I mean, there wasn't a lot of room to pass. And they were kind of almost like a D shape, odd corners, really long. And then one straightaway would be really short. Then the next one would just be a big sweeping long one. And they were really, really tricky to ride. And, you know, for a guy like me going to Australia the first year that I went there on the David Tapp series, was such an education to learn and understand that. For me, they were probably the strangest, weirdest tracks I've ever ridden.
Because they're generally quite big there as well, aren't they, in Australia, a lot of them.
They are big, and there's different kinds of surfaces, a lot of car
Mm.
racing tracks. And I shouldn't say weird. They were just strange because I hadn't ridden them. They were, once you rode them a couple of times, and you're like, oh, okay. Watch Simon Wigg or watch Craig Boyce and Lee Adams and Crumpy, all these guys, they were dominant, you know. And then you'd go to Claremont in Western Australia, and it was Glenn Doyle, I think, would come out there, and he would just smoke everybody on those big, huge tracks. They were like, I don't know if they were 600 meters or something. They were massive.
Yeah, like long track basically.
Yeah, they were pretty much on a speedway bike with a big car muffler on the back.
What about your favorite British tracks? Obviously, you raced quite a lot of the British tracks. What tracks did you like in England mostly?
I honestly believe for me, Cradley was the best track. I loved that place. It was such a great shape. It was just the right width for that time. You know, these days, I think the tracks, probably a difficult thing for a lot of tracks in the UK, except with the exception of Bellevue, for instance, they are still narrow. The tracks haven't grown with the bikes. The bikes have outgrown the speedway tracks, and they need you for better racing these days. You don't have, not to go too deep into all this, but I mean, you had the total loss system of the motorcycles before, where the oil went into the frame, went down through the engine one time, it went out the bottom, and it went straight onto the tracks back in the day. So you went through basically at least a liter of oil a night in every single motorcycle. So, or maybe a liter of oil, kind of thereabouts, after all your 5 heats. So you're talking about 14 riders putting 14 liters of oil on the track every night. If you understand, it would go through the motor one time, then it would drip out the bottom. So they didn't have oil catchers back in the day. So the tracks were very oil saturated. Together with the water, they would bind better. I think that's why a lot of the racetracks were so good back then. And then as they put the oil catchers on for environments, the track started to get a little bit more sandy feeling, wouldn't bind together the same, required probably more clay content sometimes. The masters would figure it out. But those kind of things, they changed the racing a lot, you know, and it's evolved so much over the years. And you look at the tracks today, and some of them become quite narrow because the bikes are going so quick, and you can't really let the bikes go to their true potential because the safety fence gets in the way, the size of the track gets in the way. So Torin is fantastic in Poland, really wide, lots of racing lines. A lot of tracks in Poland now have gotten bigger or wider. They're revamping a lot of them. Even the GP tracks from Cardiff to Melbourne was insanely good. What they did there, it was so wide. And when you get width, you get opportunity, you get better racing. It doesn't need a lot of dirt. You just need to give the guys opportunities where they can make dive bombs, or they have room to recover, or make a big sweeping corner and cut back. And that's what makes Speedway so good.
In the preparation and all that. Got Phil Elkin here as well. Did Greg keep any of his race jackets and suits from over his great career?
I sure did. I kept as many race jackets as I possibly could. Sometimes they went missing at some point, and these days I have a hard time keeping them in place. Well, not so much now, but when the kids were a little bit smaller, Wilbur and Bill, they used to take them and race around at the house in Sweden outside, and I'd find my GP race jacket going around and around, and then 2 GP race jackets. Then all their friends would come, and all my GP race jackets were out there. So some of them kind of went by the wayside here and there, but I kept a lot of that stuff, and I still have them in various places, either in the UK or here in the US, that I've kind of moved around. But suits, I have a really good selection of suits. Yeah. I don't have a ton of them from my whole period in England, sadly, because I think I sold a lot of suits from time to time and just moved them on, which I'm really bummed out about. But back then I didn't think about what this is going to do for me in the future. I just thought about it. Yeah, right. Yeah. Where do I find all that stuff? I see that Bruce Penhall's museum full of stuff is all for sale again now too. So I'm thinking, what? What's that guy crazy?
Yeah, well, you never know. The powers of social media sometimes. Pass them back now.
You got
it. Yeah. Stefani here as well. Attilia Stefani. Hi, Lee and Greg. Good to see you again.
Hey, good to see you too, man. Even if it's just right here online.
Yeah. The rocket's on as well. Wow.
The rocket. Dude, the rocket. You know,
He's a
that
goat.
kid, he and I, we grew up in the same town. I mean, we've been friends since we were really little.
Yeah.
Honestly, probably since I was 6 or 7 years old that we've been buddies, if I get my numbers correct. But really, really young. We went to the same schools and everything. He's a little bit older than me, but I was closer to his brother Scott, and then Ricky was a little bit younger too. But their family, they were the craziest group in Fullerton. The dad had a sandrail buggy in his garage. They had motorcycles constantly, so it was constant race up and down their streets, running from the police and shutting the garage door quick. And best times of our lives.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a great interview with Ronnie, and he's going to come to my motocross meeting at the end of the year with his boys, so he's a welcome guest for sure. So look forward to seeing you then, Ronnie.
That's
Jeremy
cool. Catch you
Doncaster
later,
as well.
Rocket.
What's going on?
Donkey. Yeah, there's another one.
Donkey's on.
Man. The
Wow.
donkey is the man. I love that one. Donk on his profile pic there too.
That's it. On the back of the seat.
So, oh, Donkey's awesome. Between him and John Cook and Dennis Segalis, those guys from their eras of racing down there at Ipswich. And it's, Siggy lives close to me here too. And we don't see each other that much, but we're in touch here and there. And he came by earlier last year and brought a box of donuts together for all the kids. And we were going to do a podcast, and we ended up talking so long that we ran out of time to do a podcast.
Did you?
Yeah, we had a blast. He's so funny. He's so awesome. So
I'm getting him and Chris Lee on together.
All right, Doug.
Rearrange that. Yeah, all right, Donkey. We'll get that rearranged soon as. Sean McConnell. This young man has never had a bad word about anyone.
And I don't have one about you either, Sean.
What a ledge, another ledge. I remember.
And he's the mad dog.
Yeah.
Sean McConnell is, you talk about a pillar for a sport. That dude is a foundation of American Speedway. I mean, right up to today, he still goes to so many races, and he's still the guy there that's working with every one of the little kids that's out there and helping them out or giving them a peace of mind. But he's got the most calm, mellow temperament, and just. I remember watching him when I was a kid, and I'm still watching him race now. He's just a very inspirational human being.
Even Lawrence is on as well.
Yeah, all right,
We have about 3 or 4 teams on tonight.
Oh my gosh, it's a good thing we're not here either.
I know. Well, I've actually just had a sneaky one. I don't normally have a drink, but I thought, Greg Hancock, I've got to have a beer.
You got to have one. Hey, fair play, man. I wish it wasn't so early in the day. I'd join you.
Yeah, I know you were in the morning there. First met Greg properly in 97 when he was in the US with Mark Laram in 97. He kindly lent us an XR 600 to go ride out in the desert with Billy and Sledge. Typical of Greg, a true gent. No bigger ambassador of the sport. Look forward to seeing him on the flat track, instigate on any Sunday 3 in the making scene.
You're awesome, Lowell. That's awesome. Yeah, that was right. That 600 came from my brother-in-law Brian Papalardo, as he said there. I think that's pretty much where it came from. Anyway, we had some good times though. I mean, him coming over here with Mark Lorem and Screeny and those guys whenever they were around, it was just nonstop comedy, but just all around good dudes, man. It's fortunate to live the life that I've led. So
cool to get all these guys on. Unbelievable. David Mollosiniers. Yeah, mental. David Mollosiniers put, what were the advantages / disadvantages of the Aero body bikes Greg and Billy used to use? Also, thanks for all the years of true entertainment.
I think Billy and we were looking to do some fairings back in the day there, and Billy was really into it because of his stuff that he started working with Kenny Roberts too. But my dad actually made all those things for us back in the day, or made them all, but he was very influential in helping us and getting them painted and stuff. But they, I think we were really trying to bring the Speedway bike into the modern world of motorcycles and not just look like as old school as it did. However, fairings, you can't have aerodynamics. The sport doesn't allow aerodynamics. So you had to find a way to sort of work with the rules and not go against them or break them. And doing those things they were really, really cool. And the bike looked so sleek, and it was so hard to get used to because they were so slippery. And, we were using the first year there, Billy and I were using motocross gear from Troy Lee. And it was really hard to get traction holding your legs tight to the bike because they wanted to slide back all the time. You couldn't hold on good. and the laydowns were still very early in their career too. So they were really aggressive and still trying to figure out how to make them work right. But those things were good. However, it was mounting them was the most important, because you know, the way the Speedway frame is designed to flex quite a bit, and mounting all this carbon fiber or fiberglass stuff that we had back in the day, it really stiffened up the whole ride, and it made it, it was quite interesting. There's a lot that went into it, and we ended up modifying them later, as Billy used them for a long time after that. I stopped using them that first year and didn't do much except for the front part of the fairing, but Billy stayed with it and used it for more or less the rest of his career after that. I can't remember exactly, but they were really, really cool. And again, I still think the sport's missing that, but you know, we're always working on new things.
Yep, for sure. Got Adam Fry here. He's put, whoa, another legend on tonight. Hi, Lee, and hi, Greg. Massive fan. What a great guy. Thank you for coming on for your fans. Nothing but great memories of you since my first days watching Speedway in the mid-90s. Can you name a favorite restaurant in America? I'll add it to the list for my next visit.
Oh, a favorite. Wow. They come and go, you know. We've had so many favorites, and we had a great Italian place we used to go to up in Fashion Island. It's moved now to Orange. But man, we go from pizza to Mexican food to just there's so many great places, you know. If you want a good pizza, there's a place here in Costa Mesa called 2145. Awesome. It's an old converted gas station that they made into a pizza restaurant. It's unreal. Really good food. El Ranchito is by far the best Mexican place for me. It's a few locations in our area here, but the Newport Beach location is the most iconic. It's right across from the beach, and it's got a lot of history for us. So that's a great place to go to as well. But burgers, I mean, you can't beat an In-N-Out burger. In-N-Out's fast food for us, but it's like the best fast food burger you'll ever get. I don't care what anybody says. And besides that, my wife makes the best food. I'm not sure if her restaurant's open though.
Adam's put, he comes from the UK, normally follows all the motocross in the UK and the Speedway, and I've seen him. He goes over to America, takes in some AMA Supercrosses and stuff. Hence, he's asking.
Good for you, man.
Restaurants. Yeah.
Yeah, heck yeah. Well, you know what? I mean, depending where you go, there's some great restaurants everywhere. I don't know if you like chains or find the little hole in the wall, but it's hard to say right now. It's been COVID too, so we can't go anywhere. So it's just, you know, nobody eats out unless you really want to sit outside.
I'm not sure if this is someone to do with the crosses or not. Yeah, this could be maybe. It's been a long time, Greg. First and last time we met was a few years back at the Diamond League rounds at Le Mans, is it? In France? Is that how you pronounce it? Le Mans?
Yeah.
Hopefully you will be able to come back over and with the family and have a catch up with the crosses.
Well, that could be. I met up with two of the younger crossies there when I was there. So I don't know if this is one of them or just someone else, but there's a good chance. But yeah, I got to meet up with Crossie's younger kids, and that was awesome because I didn't really get a chance to meet them when they were small. So for me to come back, and now they're just all grown up kids, and you know, they're not kids anymore. You know, they're human beings that are just going on. They're full adults and doing their own thing. But a great family. Simon and Andrew did a good job. Yeah.
Yeah, they're great people. It's cool to see those guys. Someone here has no name that they've registered, but they put, do you think Per Jonsson would have won more titles if he hadn't have had his crash in '94? From Andy Stevens.
For sure. Per for me was one of the all-time greats. So talented and so tall, right? But the guy really knew how to use his body to his advantage, and he could transfer his weight in such a good way without being overly hanging off the bike. He could really keep his weight centered on the bike and just put the weight on the foot peg or on the back fender whenever needed. And he's the guy who taught me how to straighten my arms. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. I had a great interview with him. That was really good. I really enjoyed that.
He's the best, man.
Yeah.
That dude is just, you know, he was hard done by with that accident, and he's managed to come out with such a positive attitude and just, again, a wonderful human being. That guy is just, again, I'm not worthy.
Especially when Armando kept coming on telling him off for swearing.
Yeah.
It was brilliant.
Yeah. Well, Per always calls me, and I can speak some Swedish, so Per calls me and most of the time refuses to speak English to me. So we have to talk. Yeah, we have to talk Swedish, and I get stuck for words once in a while, and I have to throw in more often than not, and I have to throw in English words. But he'll answer me in Swedish, so he's good for me.
Do you get over there much, Greg? Now, obviously, I know the time's right now, but I mean, because you did live in Sweden for quite a while, didn't you? I'm sure you did. Is that right?
Yeah, we had our base in Sweden from, 2002. I was based over there and had an apartment with Jenny, and I had an apartment. Then we sold that and bought a house, bought some property and built a house out in the country. So we weren't far away from Per. We were always pretty close to where he's at. And I mean, up until Jenny got her thing going on there, we were there every year, so I haven't been back in Sweden since December of 2018. So it's been a while.
Got Lawrence Rogers here on Facebook. One of my lasting memories with Greg was in the World Team Cup in Prague. Some tactics used that definitely benefited the Team USA, Greg? And a great after party. That 25-year-old port did me in.
Oh, I don't remember the port, but maybe that's a good thing. Lawrence. There's Lawrence. I've known him since my first year. Well, even before that, I met him in 1988 when I went over there for my little test run with Cradley. And obviously, Lawrence actually was involved with some banking stuff for me for some years there in the UK. And he was around Cradley. He's a Cradley dude. So we've had a lot of good times. And then he worked with the US team for quite a while too. So we got a long history. He's a great man.
I got someone on YouTube here, Sandor, I think that's pronounced maybe. If the pandemic time is over, do you have a farewell meeting, and in which country?
Well, let's get the pandemic over with, and I would love to have a farewell meeting in a couple of places if it will allow it, and we'll make it. It'd be really fun. I'd love to do it, and we started planning that all out early last year before all this came down. So it was a shame, but what can we say, right? We can't dwell on the past. We just got to look forward, and let's hope that we can find some way, shape, or form to make it happen. We look forward to it.
Fingers crossed, one in the UK. That'd be cool.
Yeah, for sure, right?
Adam Poulter here has put, what English teams did you nearly sign on the dotted line for, but didn't quite happen? I was going to ask that.
He must be a Swindon guy.
Yeah. Did I send you that?
Yeah, that was, I was very close to sign the contract with Swindon my first year, thanks to Norrie Allen. So Norrie came to see me in the end of 1988 after I had already been in England there. And he said we were very close to put pen to paper to go to Swindon. And I just said, well, if it works out and I do sign it, well, maybe actually it was in early in 89, because I had already been home, and he was over here on his usual yearly time to come and do some golf for the Brigos and all those guys or whoever he'd come to see here. And we sat down, we put a deal together, and I said, if I sign this, all I will ask for is that you pay back Cradley Heath for the air ticket they bought for me to come over there on that trial run. And he said, yeah, no problem at all. And as it turned out, the deal with Cradley happened, and it never went with Swindon. But it was really close. Norrie was, and we laugh about it still today, and think, how would it have been had I gone that route instead of the route that I went?
You're gonna have to give me a minute.
Yeah.
Oh wow, we nearly got Greg. Oh, because we had a.
That's the only one. That's the only one I can say. Yeah.
Is that the only one? Is it? It was close.
I think so. The rest of them. Yeah, no, the rest of them. I stayed with Cradley for so many years, never thought about leaving. And then when it closed, it was like Coventry's option came up right away. And I was like, that for me, I wanted to go there. So I did that. And then, the deals with Reading and Oxford worked out a lot different back then Oxford and Reading, because of the circumstances and where I was in my career and private life and what was going on. They just sort of happened, last minute, kind of the way it all worked out. But loved every one of them. Every one of them has been so unique in some way, shape, or form in the different tracks, and good times. I was the Bulldogs at Reading, so that was different.
Yeah, because then I was like, cool. So Greg's gone over that side near Swindon to Reading. Now he's gone the other side to Oxford. I'm like, damn, any chance in the middle?
I just seemed to avoid Swindon all the time. That was
Yeah.
weird. Nori put a clause in the contract that if I didn't sign in the beginning, I could never sign.
Oh wow. Oh, never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Love and war and all that. Did you have any superstitions, Greg? Have you had any weird ones or anything like that? Or
I can't say like I can't say total superstitions, except that I probably had my routines that I did, certain things and what things I wanted to eat on the day because I didn't want to upset my stomach, or I had good luck at this one race and I did it like this, so I'm going to do it like that for the rest of the time or whatever. So I don't know that I had any superstitions in that sense directly, but there was guys that had colors, green was a bad color for racing, and that's like, gosh,
yeah, I remember that.
Simon Wigg was pretty
Simon Wigg blew
successful
that
with
out.
green, and
yeah, he blew
right,
that one
yeah, shoot.
Yeah.
I don't know what else. I mean, no, man, I can't say.
Were you always very organized with all your stuff every time, Greg? Were you very organized with all your equipment and kit and everything? Did you have it all set a certain way and stuff like that?
Pretty much. I don't know that I was crazy with it,
Right.
OCD style, but I liked I knew where I had my stuff, right? So I knew that when I got to the track, it was going to be there, and that's going to be like that. And I just wanted it there so that I started to, when you start racing so often, and you start racing in so many leagues, as I started going that way, to keep track of everything, I had to have my hands on stuff. I didn't want to just turn everything loose to my mechanics because maybe they would not clean the goggles the same way and the lens might have one little smear, or they didn't put the pads right back in the undersuit or something. And I just wanted to know that everything was ready. So if I flew in on the day of the race and had to go straight to the track, and a lot of times it worked out like that, you got to the track with, an hour and a half to spare, and I just had to run inside, or maybe even less sometimes. And your mechanics put your gear bag in the changing rooms, your helmet and your goggles and everything were set up on the bench in the pits. I just wanted to run into the changing room. So when I opened the bag, I wanted to slide every piece on in the way that I packed it. So it was like just boom, 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 boom. I didn't have to look for anything because sometimes you didn't have time to look for stuff.
Wow.
So it got to that point, and my guys were really good, but I probably at sometimes were like, no, I don't want that there. I want this like this.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it happens. Sure it happens.
It's good. It's just it's just organization so that you can, I slept better.
yeah. At ease and all that. Chris Simpson here has put, I know he's a Coventry guy, that's probably why this question is. I think he's been doing the t-shirts. He's put a question for Greg. If you're being held at gunpoint and you have to choose one track to reopen, do you choose Cradley or Coventry?
You're a vicious man, Chris. Well, I would at this point would definitely wish that Cradley was reopened, and I would go for that because I think that took away a lot for the whole Midlands, even prior to Coventry closing. But and there's such a long time in between those two, right? So it's a real shame, and the story behind Coventry is quite ugly too, right? The way it's been going and how it's worked out, it's such a shame. Jeff Davies, who you guys are probably all aware of, is a close friend from way back, and all the work that he's been doing behind the scenes trying to save it too. And I get a lot of reports from him over the last couple of years too about what he's been doing. And it's amazing seeing what they did for Cradley back in the day, how the fans came together and how they refused to let it go, right? And they've managed to keep the Heathens alive even up to present day in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. And I really hope that Coventry will as well. All these cities deserve to have a speedway track. And I know it's tough in this day and age, but noise is always an issue, right? It's going to cause a problem for everybody. But maybe when Michael Risk comes back on with his electric speedway bike, all repairs will be answered. Yeah.
Rich Thomas here has put, how did Greg enjoy his time at Oxford, especially riding with Trav and riding for Waggy? I remember Greg came to my house where Trav lived.
Hey, you know what? I really enjoyed it. I think Travis taught me a thing or two during our time together. And as much as I helped him, he helped me too, because he was a terrific starter gator. Really, really good, really fast, and was very particular how he set his clutches up. And Travis ended up working together with us, fortunately, for a couple of years, and when he lived in Sweden. And to go back to your answer there too, it was, to your question, I should say, I really learned a lot. I enjoyed riding at Oxford. I liked that track because it was a little bit American style. It was very short from the start to the first corner, really tight corners, a little bit narrow too, but really fast. And if you learned how to ride it properly, there were some really good lines. It had its moments where it could be a little wavy and rough and stuff like that, but Travis was never scared, and he always used to remind me that I needed to muscle up. Don't back down. You just got to attack the track. And if I had a hard night, he was sure to remind me of it. But Waggy was cool because Waggy, he was different. One of the first promoters that I worked with he thought outside of the box. He wanted to do something different. We were the Silver Machine back then, right? So he was running this whole new concept and trying to change the sport. And it didn't take off, sadly, but you can't knock the guy for the effort trying to bring it up into a different world and really add some razzmatazz and the music and the costumes or the suits that we were wearing. He was really, really good at what he did. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have rode for Oxford. It was just the thing that he said to me when he called that attracted me to come and ride there. So, it's a shame that it didn't last that long, but definitely was a good time.
Yeah, very good. I remember that you and Billy there was very cool. Simon Benden, he's put, did you ever ride at Newport Speedway? Greg Hancock back in the day.
No, I didn't. I never rode at Newport.
Didn't ride that, no.
And no, and there was a lot of races. They were running those races prior to or the day after Cardiff GP a lot too. They would run a race.
Yeah.
And I never made any of those either. But yeah. Sorry to say it.
No problem. What riders were your favourite to team ride with, and why, Greg? I'm sure there's a few.
Who Jano Peterson was a really good one to team ride with. He didn't make a lot of gates, as everybody knows. He wasn't the best starter during certain years until he needed to win a world championship, and then he made 5 perfect ones. But team riding with him, I was always a pretty good in the starts, and I just knew that at some point Jano was going to be there, and he could do really good. Once he got alongside you, he was really good to slow up a one of those kind of guys. But then I got to team ride a little bit with a guy like Sam Ermolenko, even when we were in opposite teams, but he would guest for us or I'd guest for them. He was phenomenal at slowing up races, really, really good. Those times where there's I got to ride with a lot of really good guys that were good team riders, and Billy and I had some great team rides over the years too. And I think the good thing about Billy and I when we were teamed up is that the two of us, a lot of times things just happened. It was like suddenly you caught some grip and you went flying past him. At the same time, he managed to come back like that. And there was so much of this, which in the end, we learned how to read each other kind of the way you entered the corner as opposed to how you were setting your apex up. And those kind of things, just riding together so many years, you kind of know, and you can't get angry if something doesn't go right. You just think, well, that was close. We almost made it. Or that was awesome. Can you believe that just happened? So those are the most fun times. Controlling the race is one thing, but things that just happen just because you had to react quickly and trying to avoid a teammate or run a guy wide enough that you could let your teammate come underneath, they could work in your favor and they could also hurt you.
I got another Swindon guy here, Mr. Ashley Holloway with Ash Tech. He's put, funny memory with Greg was when he came jet skiing with us and I was explaining to him how it all worked, not knowing he was a bit of an expert. That's not true. I'm not an expert, but I rode a lot of jet skis as a kid with John Cook, out of all people. John Cook, Cowboy.
Yeah, he was and still is an amazing jet ski rider, and I got to spend so much time with him, and he taught me so much as a kid. But I hadn't ridden for years, and then it was Ash and David Haynes offered me to go out and jet ski with them at a place in Poland because they were living out there, and they still are. And I went out and they were explaining it all. I'm like, okay, cool, and I just jumped on. It was like it just came back like riding a bicycle. Those the jet skis that they have some old school ones, and you get the newer ones that are the old ones are easier for me to ride. The new ones are so fast, and they accelerate so quick that it takes time to try to get the feel of the ski and the boat, how it's going to rock, and standing on it. It takes some time, but I think they had an old school 550 there that I had a blast on that thing, and I've only been once since then, but I miss it. It's so much fun. So thanks for giving me the opportunity, Ash. You guys are the legends.
Brilliant. I got a YouTube here. Pemberton Tires has put, Greg, why isn't Speedway as big in the States compared to the UK, or am I wrong?
No, you're right. Of course, it's the sport here is virtually non-existent to a lot of people. You know, when you say Speedway here, everybody thinks of car racing and NASCAR and Daytona and Indianapolis and places like that. But you know, the US is a big country. There's a lot going on. There's so many of your everyday household sports, your footballs, baseballs, basketballs, and then you get, you know, motocross like Supercross, NASCAR. There's so much racing of so many sorts, and bicycles, and Speedway got overshadowed. But the promotion that was big back in the early, you know, late 70s, early 80s, with the Oxley family here at Costa Mesa, Harry Oxley was very unique. Harry Oxley, John Ladisher, then Chris Sagajanian, also from Ascot Speedway. Those guys, they were networked with a lot of great people, and they really knew, or maybe it was just the times, they had access to such good other companies and radio stations, and they made household names out of the riders. You know, you had Flying Mike Faria and the Professor Mike Baston, Alan Crazy Christian, and Bobby Boogaloo Schwartz, and Bruce the Fox Benhall, right? So they made all these names, and they created profiles for these guys even back in the day. And I think it's very difficult these days because with the use of a cell phone, you know, you don't really need to do much more. You can have a lot of good time and surfing and on the net and doing other things. So I don't know, man. I really wish the sport was bigger. And for me, it's still one of the best sports in the world that's unknown. And, you know, a guy like Kelly Inman is a good guy to ask that question. Maybe he's worth having on your show here too. Talk about promoters from the US. You get him on and here he was with it in those days, and he's worked with a lot of riders and been around the world with GP events and helped me for a lot of years and still helps me today. So he's very influential. I wish it was a bigger sport, and Kelly's working so hard to try to lift it. I came to him, you know, in 2019 when my wife was going through her treatments, and I said, I'm going to say a few things to you, Kelly, and I'm sure you've heard it before with a lot of other riders who have already retired, and you're trying to find a way to recreate or rebuild American Speedway, you know, and I said, just hear me out. Don't shoot me down. Just hear me out. And I just want to say what I want to say. And you think of all these different things that you want to do. And probably most of it he's already heard before, but he always comes back with some good feedback. And that would be a good idea. Or, well, you know, it's just difficult because of this and this and this. And he's exactly right. So it's tough. It's really tough. And I can't really put my finger on it.
I've seen loads of comments on here asking about certain riders and rivalries and everything, so we might as well ask about that. You've had some great rivalries, obviously, over the years and everything, but everyone that been commenting on here, I knew they was going to bring this up about Nicky Pedersen, your rivalry with Nicky Pedersen, and a lot of us all remember that.
It was a love-hate relationship right there.
What was so obviously you had great rivalries all over, but obviously everyone liked the one where you had with Nicky Pedersen over the years. How was that for you?
Well, thanks to Nicky, we had a really great rivalry, and you know, he you know, as a racer, I have the utmost respect for him, because that guy, he wanted to win at all costs, more or less, you know, and he only looked at one thing, and that was winning. So you can't say he was bad, but it was just that I think a lot of times he went just a little bit over the edge, you know, and if he didn't see you there, in his exact words, I didn't see you, so, you know, it's not my fault. You should have shut the throttle off. Yeah, you're right. But I don't know where his view was either, you know. It's we're all different in that manner. And yeah, we had our tussles, you know, and we had our arguments. And I mean, I've been friends with Nicky from day one, and even from before we raced against each other when he was a kid racing in the 80 cc's. We used to go to his house in Denmark, and his parents used to let us use their workshop, and him and his brother Ronnie were racing too. And always very hospitable, always very cool. And I remember Nicky he's always been kind of a hothead, if you want to put it like that. He just wanted to win, man. If he didn't win, he was angry, and I think it's still the same today. If he doesn't win, he's angry, but he probably just, diverts his anger in other ways these days. But I had moments there where I just think, you know what, I can't believe you just did that to me again. And in the end, I started to think, okay, well, I need to be a little bit quicker. But sometimes you think, he wouldn't do that again. Now I've got the run, I'll be good. But no, he was there. He would stop you again and again when he knew you were next to him. But it was easy to say, I never saw you.
I think I remember quite a few instances in the GP, and then it was a few times, and then you could see it was almost coming to a head with you. And then obviously,
I mean, it always, and that always stemmed into the leagues too. If we were racing against each other, in the UK, it was always interesting because the tracks are narrow, right? So you don't have a lot of room. So if you're going to do something to somebody there, you have to be so quick to find whatever breaks you can find to stop or recover. Where you get to Poland and Sweden, the tracks get a lot more wide. You have a lot more options, so you can read things differently. You have the time to do it. And I think most of the time in those other leagues, we didn't really have as many tussles, except that one there in Sweden when it was a small track there in Motala, and he got a good opportunity to get a hold of me, and I tried to put the brakes on, but I couldn't get them on fast enough, and I went down again. I just thought, that's enough. If the referees aren't going to do something about it now, I have to take the matters into my own hands to let them know how I really feel.
Yeah, that was funny.
It was. I look back on it, it was funny, and my friends never let me live it down. So it's even some of the big guys that I walk around now, they all say, "Oh, watch out."
It's gonna get jumped by Greg. Oh,
yeah.
There we go. We got Helly.
Oh, the best Danish love right there.
Yeah, she's put, "Hi, Mr. H. Coffee is on. When are you coming over? Hugs, Mr. and Mrs. G." Wow.
I'm not coming over soon enough. There's the most wonderful, big-hearted trooper of a lady right there. Talk about standing behind her man and standing behind life in general. She's just, she's on the top. She's up there, and she's the best ever. So her husband knows that.
Yeah, she's a legend.
Love you, Mrs. G. She's my Danish mom.
She was great when she came.
But I don't want to say that because she always feels old if I say that, and she's not old. She's young.
Bruce was like, he was more blatant. He was like, "I'd rather speak to her than you, Eric."
I would never say that because but Eric knows. He knows better anyway. He'll say that. Hell, you talk to them.
I've had a few of the guys come on saying about obviously your amazing 4 world titles, but I know the first one normally is quite special, but was there any that sort of meant different things to you? Obviously the long gap before the other one and that sort of thing. What was your feelings on that?
Well, I think, for me to look back on it now, and these questions get brought up periodically, but I don't know what the heck was going on for those 14 years in between the 2 titles. And the only thing I can ever say is that I obviously was not hungry enough and I got lost mentally, just completely lost. It wasn't the fact that I wasn't trying, but because I had a lot of really good input, a lot of good help. And I think the only one thing I am slightly discouraged about is that I didn't win a world title when I was working together with Jeff Nielsen and Bill Nielsen in Sweden, because together with them and Lars Larson, and many people may or may not know these people, but Lars Larson put me in touch with these amazing people, and Lars is amazing in himself, who was involved with one of my big sponsors, System Edstrom, for years, and basically opened a lot of doors for me in Sweden when I first moved over there. Lars, those guys, they kind of helped me to look at a speedway track as if it wasn't just an oval. And that sounds crazy, but we did things a lot of times when they'd say, "Here, I want you to try this and do this like that." And I would say, you can't do that. It doesn't work like that. And then Lars, I can see him right now with his blank look and looking at me. He'd go, "Oh, well, show me then." And I think, "Didn't you hear what I just said? You can't do it like that." "Well, show me then." And I just remember like he was testing me so many times and pretending like he didn't have any idea what I was talking about in some ways. And "Oh, well, just show me then." Then he would make me go out and do it. And sometimes I showed him, and many times I didn't show him, So you think you know everything, but you don't know jack, and
always learning.
Always learning. So between him and then Bill and Jeff Nielsen, who are, whether you know them or not, Bill Nielsen he was the first ever official world motocross champion, and he had 2 world titles, and I can't remember exactly how many second places he had behind like Sten Lundin and some of these big legends back in the day. Jeff Nielsen was a world enduro champion, and so these guys, they were racers. So Lars is a motorcycle background, very successful in motorcycle racing too, and very influential in the world over here in the US when he came over from Sweden to here. They kind of changed my whole thought process and looked at and worked with me on my bikes as if they were working on their own bikes. And they were, when I would explain something to them, especially to Jeff, I feel like I became like a brother to Jeff in many ways, because he's a little guy too, but he worked his butt off to win races, and there was no jokes. The guy's more fit than I am even today, or was in my best time. I mean, a fitness freak, and just so strong, so powerful, so headstrong, but was very into his equipment. He wanted everything to work right, and everything needed to feel good to the rider. So he did the same on my Speedway bikes. He made sure everything was exactly how I wanted it, and he would sit on it and feel it when I had it right, and then he would make the bike the same every single time. And if he saw me look at something, he'd come straight over and try and, "What's up?" And then feel it, and he'd go, "Ah," and he would find, and he'd go, "Yeah, right, I got it." But they helped me so much mentally, and I could see, for me to understand that is, I'd come in from a race and maybe I made a mistake, and I could see the disappointment or frustration in both he and his dad's eyes. Although they wouldn't say anything to me, I could see it in their eyes, and I was almost looked up to them so much I was afraid to say anything. And then I could see also the frustration if something broke, or somebody knocked me off, or we didn't qualify, and the anger that could come with it. They were as angry, if not more angry than I was, that it didn't work out the way we had all planned it, So I didn't win a world title with those guys, and I think that's the only thing. I can't say I regret it, because we worked hard and we tried everything we could, and we won a lot of GP events, and we won a lot of races, but we just didn't win a title. And that part, it took off right after we finished working together with all of them, and suddenly my career took off. So maybe something there, which I'm very sure of, also clicked. That it just took me a little bit longer to realize it, but it clicked, and everything started to flow. Listening to different people, trusting certain people, and letting go a little bit of my control freak nature. And suddenly I put a lot more trust into just letting the mechanics do their thing, and it started to flow. I had great equipment that came in suddenly with the guys from Pro Driving and Mick Metcalf and Lars Sexton, who were very influential at that time, that they hit me at the right time with my wife going, "No, you're not ready to quit yet." That's where I was so frustrated, because I was working so hard and I had the best people around me, and I wasn't winning. Why am I not winning? And I was overthinking, I think. So that's
very interesting
times. But after 2011, man, it was just like somebody just opened a whole new door, and it was just like, how many world titles do you want? You just gotta work a little bit. You got this.
It was amazing though, the way it all played out.
It was crazy. When I look back on it now, I just think, to win in 2011 was just like mind blowing. And I felt like I was just building the momentum, and that year went so good. And then I had an injury too that slowed me down a little bit, but we bounced back from it. And just, gosh, 2014 was a rocket ship of a year. 2016 was insane. I mean, just everything went better than expected, And I was hungry. I was really, really hungry.
As crazy as it is, I wanted to ask you, the Cardiff GP, it's only a sort of a couple of hours for me from Swindon, but I only went to it once, and the once I went, you won. But what I was going to ask you is
Good time to go.
yeah, it was a good time to go, Greg. And what I was going to say, because I was there and I felt it, and I felt the same emotions as well, is how good does that feel for you? Obviously, I know you're American, but a lot of it's sort of home for you for the British GP as well for you guys. But it was literally like a Brit had won. That's how it felt, and that's how the fans acted. Does that feel special for you when you was winning Cardiff? I know you've won quite a few times, but was that special for you as well? I really felt it that day I was there, and I've only been there once, so.
I've said this before, and I can only repeat it because for me, it's our flags are red, white, and blue, right? And so are your flags.
Yes.
So for me, I'm stoked because that was as close to home, literally as close to home, I was going to get to having a home GP. And every time I went to the UK, every time that I won, fortunately, I can say every time, not just the once, that the noise, the fan following that I had from all the league racing, and then the fans from around the world that came there. Cardiff's not just about the British fans. It's like that brings in people from all over the world. And it that place lit up, and I saw so much red, white, and blue. So for me, not only was it the Union Jack and the Stars and Stripes, it was red, white, and blue for me. And that's how I always looked at it, that it was like, this is home, and I felt they made me feel at home. And I always had this hair-raising experience from the first moment I walked into that place and they played the Welsh national anthem, that you just go, whoa, it's so weird on the center green to feel that, the noise and the echo coming around you, like you're just getting all the weight on top of you. It really does make the hair stand up on your body. It's crazy. Yeah. It's really crazy.
I did that night, and wow. I did that night, and it was just literally like a wow moment for sure. I'll never forget that. Greg, I know you got to get something done, haven't you? You'll go in somewhere.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've got 2 to 3 minutes left here, and then I have to roll, sadly.
That's
but
cool. That's cool, mate.
We can always do this again.
I was going to say we'll have to do a part 2 because I can see there's 1,000 questions still more on there. There's 1,000 left in front of me. We'll definitely have to do another one when you're not so busy as well. That'd be cool.
Absolutely. Well, I'd be more than happy to do that one, and we can dig deep into the dirt if you want.
Yes, definitely. That'd be amazing. I'll just quickly then, if you've got a couple of minutes, I'll just put, what was your fitness regime plan when you were racing? What did you do for that side of things?
I worked with a lot of different people over the years, and I always looked up to different athletes and what they did for their kind of training. So I've always built my own training regime to work for myself, which usually revolved around riding bicycles, which I love to do, some mountain biking. And then it was always some sort of running, and then some aerobic stuff at home, lightweight training. Never been a heavy weight trainer at all, but just tried to stay flexible and just be, sometimes I fluctuated in weight too. And then as I got older, I started to change my diet, and changing my diet and eating more of as if I want to call it a healthy lifestyle, but more of a little less fat, a little less oils and greasy and less starchy, not as many potatoes and rices and pastas and stuff like that. Tried to manage it and moderate it for health reasons, etc. And that's when my weight dropped. Then I started to feel lighter on my feet, a little more balance in my walk. And for me, it worked out really good, that combined with a healthy lifestyle and just trying to be better all around, I managed to make myself fit.
Really appreciate your time, Greg. Awesome. I really appreciate it. Absolute legend you are, and what an experience for myself, let alone for these fans coming on asking you live questions. Amazing.
It's a pleasure, man. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you having me on here. And I know there's a lot of people that maybe your questions did or didn't get answered, but I'm always around. I hope to be able to do this again with you, Lee, one day, and hope to see all of you guys around the track soon. So thanks for being big fans. Thanks for supporting on and off the track, and thanks for hating me too if you hated me for a period. And you guys all made me be a better person.
even Mario, let's just come up, put nice one, Lee and Greg. Mario's your
perfect Mario. There's a great guy too. Another one. Gosh.
Yeah. All the names come on tonight. Thank you so much as well to see all these legends coming on to see you as well. It's brilliant. Awesome.
Oh yeah, what a variety too. Like Paul Edmondson
Yeah,
too coming out of there.
I
That's
know.
just
Awesome.
that's amazing. What a yeah. It's humbling for me.
Very cool thing. Really appreciate it, Greg. We'll keep in contact, and maybe in a couple of months or so when you're not too busy, and hopefully we'll be able to get you on for a part two. I think everyone would be bang up for that for sure, especially yourself.
Ah, maybe yeah, hey, absolutely. Same here. Maybe we can do it in one building instead of having to do it over this video like this too. It'd be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Thanks, Greg. Much appreciated. All the best for the rest of your day. Really appreciate you doing that for us. Thank you, mate.
My pleasure, Lee. Thanks to everybody
Absolute
out there too.
legend.
You guys stay
We're
safe,
not
stay
worthy. We're
healthy,
not
and
worthy, Greg. We're not
yeah,
worthy.
thanks on the know, and I'll keep saying.
Top man, really appreciate it, Greg. All the best. Have a good day. Cheers, mate.
My pleasure. You as well. Bye bye.
Absolute legend. Thank you, mate. Thank you. Wow, what a legend. Yes. Greg Hancock. Boom. Woo. Loving life. Cheers, Greg. Cheeky little stubby on Greg. Oh, I love it. Love, 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 love it. I've been trying to get hold of Greg as well for a while, and Mr. Bruce Pennell hooked me up. Thank you very much, Bruce. Right, let's just sorry guys, there is literally hundreds of questions and hundreds of questions, but hopefully Greg said he's going to come on again and answer more of your questions. I got in quite a lot, I think, in the couple of hours we had. I just want to see, let's just see what you guys have been saying. Just want to say thanks for making this happen, Lee. Love you as a person. Greg, you've been brilliant to your fans. Thank you, Greg and Lee. Dan, thank you, Dan. Alex, thanks, Greg the Grin. Chop job. Thanks, Alex. Cheers, mate. Good to go see you, buddy. Coming on. Great to see here, my good friend Greg tonight. Hopefully, we'll see you soon and we'll be watching Wilbur's progress. Yes, we all will sure be doing that. Thanks for coming on, Mario. We'll have to get you on one of these days, buddy. Remember you hanging out in the UK? Certainly is that, Phil. Thanks, Lee, for all the best. Greg. Well done, mate. Thanks, Andy, buddy. Definitely remembers the kitchen, doesn't he? The kitchen experience on the Hobbsy Ranch. I was lucky enough to meet him at the pits in Cardiff, Dave. Fab as always, Lee. Thank you very much, Amy Chappell. Awesome listen. Thanks, Simon. Love all the best from the Ways family. Legend. Awesome to get your dad a shout out, Dan. I hope that went down well with your dad. Hopefully he saw it live. If he didn't, you'll have to show him that. That was really cool to get a shout out from Greg. Thanks, Dave. I do look like the cat who's got the cream paw. Oh, I've never smiled so much in my life, mate. Oh, it's madness, isn't it? Absolute madness. Whew. Ricky Johnson, Greg Hancock. Wow. We've got some cool ones coming up as well. I've got AMA going on my next. Got AMA legend now, Mr. Zach Osborne. Thank you very much for Mikey Whitewick as well, his former mechanic with the Team Dixon when they won British Championships and GPs. He hooked me up with Zach Osborne, and he come to me yesterday, I believe, and sorted that out for me. So now I'm sliding that into Wednesday, this Wednesday, the 10th, 7 p.m. UK time. You know what it is, Andy. You have to delay the Corrie, mate, for the 450 AMA current motocross champion. He's won a couple of Supercross titles as well already, Zach, since he's gone back to America from Europe in the, what would you call it, the Lights East 250 Supercross, they call it. And he also won an outdoors on the 250 as well, I believe, 4-stroke in the MX2 class, stroke lights, stroke. I think they called. I think the Supercross was definitely the East Coast that he won on the 250, I believe. So I've got him on Wednesday evening, and then I've got a next line of BSMA legend interviews. I've got Mr. Stephen Holmes, absolute Welsh legend, Welsh wizard. He's on at 7 p.m. on Thursday, 7 p.m. And then the next one I got organised after that is 7 p.m. UK time next Tuesday. Will be with Kiwi motocross legend Mr. Josh Coppins, and then another one I've got to rearrange is hopefully maybe I could rearrange that. I will speak to them guys possibly for this Monday coming on the 15th. I'm going to talk to Chris Louie and Jeremy Doncaster. I saw Jem on tonight. I need to rearrange that one with those two British legends. That would be really cool. So hopefully I'll speak to them guys. Hopefully I can get Chris Louis and Jeremy Doncaster on together next Monday, possibly. I'm going to run that by the guys and see if that's all good with them. Thank you very much, whoever that was. Thank you. On the bike competition, people, I've got about 50 odd tickets left. So if people want to get involved in that competition for the Sebastian Tortelli 250cc JHK replica, I'll just show you it now. Look, then you can just quickly check this out. Thank you very much for all these great comments. Really appreciate it. I'm glad, Dan, that you're happy about that shout out for your dad. That means a lot, mate. That's special, isn't it, to get that over? I really appreciate Greg doing that. What a guy he is. It's nothing more than we expected, is it? What a guy he is. Are you going to do a Speedway bike auction? I have been asked this before. This could possibly happen, buddy. Whoever that was who asked me that could possibly happen. Who knows? Yes, the plan was, I've just seen Jill come up on there saying, Lee there, look. I have spoken to Jill. Obviously, we've got still got the lockdown with the COVID and things like that as well. But the plan is to hopefully, with Jill, to sort that out, is to get Alan over to Andy's house and hopefully get him in front of the laptop and get big Alan Graham on. So that is a plan there, Dave Avery. So hopefully we can do that when things get back to some normality. But I'm really pleased there, Dan Ways, that your dad got that shout out. Really cool. Thank you very much, Steady. We've got to get you a date soon, haven't we? Get you booked in. Cheers, Stewie. Thanks to your bro as well coming on. Lawrence Hare. Wow, some of the guys that come on tonight. What heroes? Who come on tonight? We got loads of them here. Gary O'Hare, Lawrence Hare. We had Amanda Castagna, Jimmy Nielsen. Who else come on? Helly Gunderson. Who else come on? There were so many. I was like, wow. Jeremy Doncaster came on. Sean McConnell, Gary Stead, Phil Elkin. There's loads of guys that come on. Unbelievable. The Gorilla from Weston was on. Some of the guys, I couldn't believe it. What is going on? Just looking at all your comments, sorry. When are we going to raffle you off, you legend? won't get much for me on a raffle, Dan. Oh, yeah, as well, by the way. Oh, wow. Greg Hancock, I nearly signed for Swindon. Oh, my God. Oh, I'm going to need another drink. Nearly signed for Swindon. That close. I wouldn't want to take it away from you, Cradley Heathen fans, to be fair. It all worked out, didn't it? And you produced another world champion behind you, Bruce Pennells, Eric Gundersons, Jano Pedersens, and all the great guys that come from there, weren't there? Amazing. Simon Cross, Andy Graham. So many guys, weren't there, from Cradley. Don't want to miss any names out. Get shot. But, wow. Nearly signed for Swindon. Shit. Oh, Greg would have looked good in the Robbins race jacket. I must admit, I did get excited when I saw that one of Bruce Pennell on Bob Kilby's testimonial. When you see the proper that one there, that exact logo was on the, I think it was 1980 Bob's testimonial, because the year before Dad had retired, and I think 1980 Martin retired as well after winning the league with Reading in 80. Martin did, but yeah, it was 1980. I'm sure I've got the coverage of it as well. I've got a coverage of Dad, Bob, Kilby, Jan Anderson, Martin. Just trying to think of what else. In a meeting at Swindon in black and white, but it's great coverage. Proper, like the whole most of the meeting, and then halfway through the DVD, Lee Kilby sorted me out. And then halfway through, it kicks onto before is Bob Kilby's testimonial. Then it kicks into the black and white movie DVD, the race meeting. Sorry, at Swindon. Oh, I can't believe he nearly signed for Swindon. Yes, you have to get Alan over. I'd love to be in that house when it's like Alan and Andy Graham there. The missus is mugging me off again, Dan. Don't start her off. You won the raffle, Dan. I will get him out to you in the post tomorrow. It's going to be a big post. Yes. Attilia. How's it going, buddy? He sent me some really cool videos of him as well. Really great job. I love to watch. From Hungary. Speedway professor from Hungary. He sent me some really cool videos of your racing. That was really good. You certainly knew how to screw it on there. Round the boards, as they say. Like a Lawrence Hare job, wasn't it? Round the boards, full gas. Loved that. Loved that, mate. Thanks for sending me that as well. I enjoyed them races. Stewie, alcohol, thought you were training. I'll never be fit for that, Stewie. But hopefully I've not forgotten to ride a little bit. Might just be for one lap, that's all. But if it gets out of my system a little bit of fun, hey, why not? Before we're too old, eh? Too old now, but I don't normally drink hardly anything at all. You obviously see me have the old gin every now and then, but that means one glass, and I'm like sleep like a light. And now I've had like these little stubby bottles. Even Lainey goes, "Oh, you can't go on them little stubby bottles. You're like a right weirdo." It's like, well, I am a weirdo. Right, is there anything else I'm supposed to tell you? So, next time I'll be on is Wednesday night, Zach Osborne, 7 p.m. That'd be a really cool one. Current AMA 450 outdoor national champion in the motocross. He's currently on the sidelines with an injury, with a bad back, I believe. Hence, luckily, it's got to come up that we can do the live interview on Wednesday. He said no time limits as well, so that's cool. So we've got plenty of time with Zach's to get your question in live, so make sure you all join me for that. And then I've got motocross BSMA legend Mr. Holmes on Thursday, 7 p.m. UK time. And then next week, so far, I've got Josh Coppins booked in, which will be really cool. And I will speak to Jeremy Doncaster and Chris Louie, and hopefully, fingers crossed, be able to do that a week today. Fingers crossed they can get him in. Love your work, Macca legend. You can ride the green bike from me. Oh, I've got a big 500 with your name on it. Jin or Jim? You can call me Jim if you want. Jim. The other night I felt like that was amazing when I did the still chuckles me now with the Paco Castagna surprising him with Stefan Evans. That was brilliant. I wanted to say it felt like Jim will fix it, but now you don't like to say that now, do you? You've got a big 500, have you, Stewie? Never been on a 500, never even got to touch a throttle on a 500. So I'd love to come over to the Hare household when we get out of this COVID, mate. Come over, check out all Lawrence's gear. That looked a right treasure chest of old helmets and stuff. I love all that stuff, all that memorabilia stuff. We'll have a good route around that. And then even if you start the 500 up and I just get sound of the 500 is beauty, isn't it? Yeah, never touched one, mate. I'd love to touch one. As bad as that sounds. Cheers, Paul. Thank you, mate. Thank you very much, Phil. Right, really appreciate everyone coming on. Excuse me. I've mentioned about the interviews. I've mentioned there's about 50 odd tickets left for the bike competition if anyone wants to get involved. If you don't mind sharing any of my posts, you can hook me up for that. That'd be appreciated. Also, I was going to say as well, you can just check this out. You can get into my Facebook group. That's been fantastic. Just gone over the 7,000 members in there now, which is amazing. It's already nearly up to 7.2, which is really cool. It's flying along. Really appreciate the support on that. We've got my Facebook page with the competitions on it. We use that as well. So if you like that page, that'd be awesome. I'm on Twitter. But the live interviews go on Twitter as well, and you can ask questions on there if you wanted to. You've got my YouTube channel. You can subscribe to that for free on YouTube, Motocross and Speed Memories. Catch up with any of those ones. If you can't watch them live, no problem at all. You can catch them all back. They're all recorded. There's loads of interviews back from right when I used to do the Skype interviews that were recorded with Lee Adamses, Jason Crumps. There's so many, Todd Wiltshires, Chris Harris, Scott Nichols. It's been an amazing ride for sure. Ronnie Corrie, when he did a live one. Andy Graham did a live one. There's been so many guys. Per Jonsson. It's been amazing. I am getting Nicky Pedersen on as well, so you guys can enjoy that. I'm doing my best to get as many of these interviews to you guys as possible. We like all those 80s, 90s. Did the Ollie Olsen one. If you didn't know, I've done the Ollie Olsen one as well. It was cool that he's going to do another one with me because I had a bit of a problem with his internet on the night that kept going on and off. Right, I'll just show you quickly before I go a few of the medias. Obviously, there's my website as well, Motocross MX Speedway Memories.co.uk. On there, you always have the countdown on there as well from my what the next interview is. I'll just see if I can get it up. I'm sure it's Motocross. There it is. You can't make it. Oh, I won't bother doing that then. I can't get that up. But here we go. I'll just show you guys this one. Yep, on the website there, I didn't mention Instagram either, did I? They just come up there. On the website, there's always a big time clicking thing that counts down the time to the next interview. That's always on there as well, and there's loads of things on the website to check out as well. It's quite a cool little setup there if you want to check that out. So yeah, I will speak to you. Hopefully a lot of you guys will join me on Wednesday evening for Zach Osborne, which would be a really cool one. He's the current 450 AMA National Motocross Champion over there. And as we know, the Supercross season's underway now, well underway, well into it. And unfortunately, Zach he's had a couple of great rides, but he's injured at the moment with a bad back. So hopefully we'll have a good amount of time. No worries, Dan. I'm not good on the internet. No worries. So speak to you all soon then, people. I will leave you with my dad's quote, bless him, that I always use, and that it's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. So let's go with that. Thanks everyone that joined me tonight. Your questions were awesome again. Much appreciated everyone coming in. Really enjoyed it. What a man. Greg Hancock, 4 times world champion. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. I will share the link tomorrow, so anyone that didn't see any of it or all of it, you can watch it in your own time. And anyone that you know that would have liked to watch it, you can share any of my links that I'll share up tomorrow. So speak to you all soon. Ciao bella, people. Good evening. Thanks ever so much for that, and good night and God bless. Ciao bella. Speak to you all soon. Thank you.